It is about to be 2 years since Elon Musk has acquired Twitter, and everyone's saying that they were thinking about like they were going to leave the platform, that we were going to invest in these competitors, and that like a flurry of different competitors have like come out, and Twitter is still standing, but like a husk of itself. And let's talk about it. Hello, you guys. Welcome back to the Cake Radio Show. I'm the CakeDive, and I hope y'all are doing well because we're gonna be talking about Twitter, y'all. Like, I think it's time. I feel like we as a public on YouTube.com and like podcast platforms have really talked about Twitter and like our fears of the platform when it was being acquired by Elon Musk way back when in like October 2022 in like early 2023. But it's about to be 2 years, y'all, since the acquisition happened and was closed because it would have closed on October 27th, 2022. We're almost there, y'all. And it's time to revisit what has happened to this platform and really like dig into like the tea here. So everybody knows when the acquisition happens. Don't really need to bring up all the drama and stuff that happened, but we need to talk about what has happened like since. So the basically the biggest things that have happened throughout the um the following of of like the acquisition is Elon has really pushed the Twitter Blue subscription platform, and there have been different like things that he is like suggested to roll out for like Twitter Blue to encourage more people to go through its subscriptions, and he has essentially he's proposing that the platform goes a little bit more subscription based than like ad based, even though for the longest time Twitter has been successful and has survived as off of its ads and the high quality ads that they've had. Not even the high quality ads, but just the variety of ads that they've had. Um, Obviously, the platform has renamed itself from Twitter to X, but for this video, I'm gonna keep calling it Twitter because who gives a fuck? And you know, the they've rolled out the whole like rebranding for everything. The people like everyone's criticized the name because it's just literally just a letter. You can't really do too much with the trademarking, and like that's not really. It's hard to really like get people to like stick with that branding. Like I feel like people might catch on with years as they keep pushing it, but I feel like most like normal people don't call it X. I feel like most people could still call it Twitter, and like I feel like the only people who call it X are like those who are like on the news talking about the platform, or like those who are in a media business or media label, because you kind of have to talk if you're promoting it, you kind of have to say it is X since that's the current name of it. um they moved their headquarters from San Francisco. Well, they announced that they would move their headquarters from San Francisco to Austin, Texas, because there's been that big wave of like people who are kind of conservative and people who are like business owners trying to move to Texas for like tax credits and like stuff like that. And Elon is also very conservative and has been like using that as an excuse to try to leave as well. Um, the basically the like pretty much everything that was used in reference to the Twitter name and the old Twitter branding is being like removed and like de-emphasized. And most importantly, this year on in August, the Brazilian Supreme Federal Court, like a judge, basically ordered like a suspension of the platform and the access of Twitter within Brazil after the company failed to like appoint a legal representative and pay some fines that they had within the country. And essentially, this led to a big sort of like discussion and a big shutdown of Twitter, essentially, in which like a lot of stan accounts, a lot of like pop culture accounts, a lot of reporters and journalists who used X were used Twitter, were basically like worried, like, oh, like I'm not gonna have access to my account, my following and stuff is gone, like what I'm gonna do. or like, oh, like I gotta say goodbye because I'm Brazilian. A lot of people came out the woodworks and revealed that they were Brazilian, which a lot of people didn't even know until they're like, oh, like I gotta go because my accounts, I'm not gonna have access to this. And everyone was like, word, they're like, oh, like Elon, you gotta do something. And the I believe the suspension was paused, but I also saw some spikes in some like of the other like Twitter competitors or potential Twitter competitors like Threads and Blue Sky, which I'll talk more about later. And that on top of just like the erosion of the platform, which I'm about to dig into, has just been really sad because we I've talked about like the big major things, but we also got to talk about the things with the tech and what has been happening with the platform as well. Twitter as an app has been severely unusable, and this is not like a generalized like thought or anything. This is something that I'm coming to y'all as the people and talking about as someone who is a Twitter user. If y'all want to follow me, y'all follow me at the CakeDive. I know that's right, but the platform is just like unusable. Like I have the app on my phone, literally without fail. Every time I try to use the app in the morning, the app will just crash. Like I'll open a DM or something from my friends. They be sending me tweets and stuff like that through Twitter. Literally, one of the few reasons why I have Twitter still is because there's a good chunk of my audience that still uses Twitter, and I need I still need that as a platform to promote my like videos, and also like a majority of my friends also still like specifically use Twitter as their social media platform of choice. So I use it to follow like what they're catching up, what they're posting, what they're catching up on, their art, their videos, their promotions, all that stuff. The tease, like I get like yeah, I gotta still tune into that, and those are the few reasons why I'm still keeping the platform. But I still don't enjoy using it. Like I feel like the only reasons why I use it on a day to day basis, outside just like checking in, is one to like promote my content and when I do, and then two, like I have a few friends that will still send me DMs through Twitter specifically, um, and that's really it. Like I really don't be using Twitter like that on an active basis, but the times that I do, and I also will say I've used the app significantly less than I have like year, 2 years, 3 years ago. Um, that because of these issues. But I'll open the app and I'll just open DMs and I'll be scrolling through the DMs, or I'll be texting and responding through a DM, and the app will just crash. You can't use the app while charging as well, because when you try to use the app while charging, nothing's gonna load. You're not gonna be able to refresh your notifications or check your DMs or do nothing, because like the app for some reason just refuses to like work when charging. I don't know how the hell that's possible. I don't know how the hell Twitter knows that you're charging your phone, and it's just like, no, we're not going. No, 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 no. Don't even think about it, girl. But for some weird reason, it's able to do that. The ads have also gotten significantly worse, and I feel like that has gotten like that's brought the rise of like different like influencers and stuff to like come to like present, because there. I remember people would talk about the two biggest things that I remember people talking about was like Shitan, like I think it's Shitan, the like Japanese mascot, using ads and buying out ad space to like promote themselves, and like people would like kind of praise like Chitan's like use of ads because it would prevent like scams and like other ads from really using that ad space up. So it was very like useful. We saw the rise of Chitan really kind of come out. And then who was that Hilton who like, was it Paris Hilton? It was Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton recently, like for some weird reason, decided to release an album. I didn't know she was doing music like that, but she like got like a lot of people were like complaining on Twitter because of the fact that she was buying a lot of ad space on Twitter to promote this album, and people got sick of it. But like there would be stuff like that. There would be also some like fairly big but also controversial ad companies, like or like companies using Twitter to promote themselves, like Temu. Like Temu buys up a lot of ad space on the platform now. And then outside of that, like the ads have turned straight to like Facebook, even with Temu. Like Temu considered, the ads on Twitter have turned like Facebook ads. Like it'll be the most random scams or like drop shipping ads that you will see like on that you would usually see on Facebook and would reserve specifically on Facebook, but it's on Twitter now, and you don't really get any like normal ads from like companies nowadays because they've really kind of stopped promoting on there, and it's just kind of really sad to see. And the only way to really ignore it is like one, if you got an ad blocker on your if you're using the desktop website version, or if you got Twitter Blue. But who is paying for Twitter Blue? Most people really don't like. People really the only incentives that like people have gotten to use Twitter Blue nowadays is to like boost their engagement and like earn ad revenue. But like so like you've also seen the rise of more like um gimmick accounts really like post like concert, like you'll see a lot of just like normal people just like post a lot of like controversial things, a lot of like clickbaity things to try to like boost their and like engagement bait things to really boost their engagement and bring in ad revenue because you need some money. They need some money. And it is just like these things that happen. And there's been so many people like I remember I feel like most people probably won't know this because this is a Kia right here. But like, I remember Ducky. She's like a Twitch streamer and was also like known on Twitter. Like she was. I remember she for the longest time she was like really not even for the longest time, but like for a good portion of last year, she was really like up and popping and like really gaining a lot of like engagement and doing for her engagement base, really like getting at stands, especially with like Nicki Minaj stands. I remember because like during the Pink Friday 2 rollout, she was really dragging it with like barbs to get engagement. Um, to like really say some like really negative things and like to drag and meme on like these artists to like boost the engagement because she knew the stands would be angry. And at some point, she said something like really weird and gross. I'm forgetting what she did, but she was like, I think she was talking about a celebrity or something like that. And she said something that was like really messed up. And everyone was like, all right, it's enough of you. And I have not heard from her since. But, there's moments like that. I know like Jimmy Outsold, that's somebody who I follow who was like, he's kind of a stand. He's kind of a stand for like different artists, but he also is like just a normal person as well. And like he'll literally just get like engagement for like I think the most recent thing he got engagement for was like, oh, I tried topping and bottoming, and like it was low key kind of tea, and people using like that tweet that he posted for like both of those different perspectives as like um a copy pasta now on Twitter. So it's kind of been like a meme on a certain space of Twitter. So like there's some people like Jimmy Outsold who aren't even that bad. Like I kind of love Jimmy Outsold. Like if he like that's potential oomph right there. um but it'll be like some normal things like that would be like funny or like somewhat like not so cringy engagement bait, and then there are people like Ducky and like actual gimmick accounts like out of context or whatever that will and like that Kira girl who should be banned because she literally was doing ban evasion. No, because let me bring her to the front. Y'all remember that Kira girl who was talking about like the weird thing about the babies and how everyone keeps memeing her for that because like that was really gross. I think is Kira. I don't know who Kira. Well, I don't know, but they've been known for being like really weird and controversial. Their account literally got like suspended, and they created a new account, and everyone just chose to follow the new account and give her that clout and give them that clout back. And I don't know why y'all did that, but I'm gonna air this out, an exclusive on Cake Radio. That Kira did some they was doing ban evasion. Y'all need to take that account down because they was doing ban evasion. Let's wake that tea up. They need to get their account suspended because it was ban evasion. But no, it'll be accounts like that, accounts like Ducky, accounts like the out of context, like gimmick accounts that will really say like the most controversial, like very weird things to just like get engagement because they have Twitter Blue and they want to get the ad revenue because they need some money. And the state of the platform is just really bad. But the issue is just that there has not been a competitor that can really replace it just yet. And like, it kind of reminds me of what happened when Vine shut down, in which like a few apps kind of came along that were trying to like replace Vine, and then like TikTok came around, well, Musically came around and kind of rose, and then it became TikTok, and then exploded as a result of the pandemic. And then I also remember when um the original creators of Vine like came back and not relaunched the app, but made like a spiritual successor to the app, and people gave it some like boost and some attention for like the first week when it existed. Oh, it was Byte. It was Byte, and then they like rebranded it from like Byte to Crash, and then it became Huddles, and they shut it down. Apparently, I just looked this up. Um, they shut it down on May 3rd of 2023. It started as Byte, and then they rolled it out that, well, it was announced as V2. They announced, then they took the Byte branding, um, and then they were acquired by Clash, another short form app, and then they rebranded it as like Huddles, and then they shut it down. And the thing with like that was that Byte came out during the time in which like TikTok had already like claimed and cemented itself as with its dominance. And so like there was already going to be a hard time for like another platform to really a new platform, that is, to really like gain a foothold and gain like that market share that Vine had back. And the other thing is, I also feel like we as a people had like evolved from Vines. Like, don't get me wrong, Vine was hilarious, and it was a time, and like people still to this day like quote Vines and like do stuff that feel like Vines, and take homage from that. And there's even like TikToks and stuff to this day that people are like, oh, this is very like Vine core. Like this feels like something that would like drop on Vine in like a positive way. But I feel like we've moved past the need for Vine, like 7-second videos and like 30-second videos and stuff like that. We've kind of moved past, and like now we're just kind of in this era of like 30-second videos and like even longer, like a minute to like 3 minutes to like 5 minutes. Like we've moved past the need for like those really short form videos. Like attention spans have dropped, but not that bad. Um, and the same thing I feel like is gonna happen with like Twitter. Like I feel like if Twitter shuts down, there are obviously like comparable platforms like Blue Sky. I'm on Blue Sky. You can follow me at CakeDive on there. Um, Threads and like some of the other platforms that have popped up, but I feel like none of them have truly like replicated one. Like I feel like people are hoping that it replicates and fully replicates what Twitter was able to do, and I feel like there's just no way that another app will be able to do that. There's just like a certain algorithm and a certain aesthetic, and it's just a certain piece of time that Twitter had that no other company would be able to really replicate, and that like in this new era we'll never be able to get back to, in all honesty. um so I feel like if Twitter was to announce that they're shutting down like today, like I feel like people would go to like Blue Sky and stuff like that, but I feel like people wouldn't be like as successful or enjoy it as much as they have with Twitter. um I think that it's also been the fact that like Blue Sky has taken so long to like fully build itself. Like I think not even just Blue Sky, but I feel like these are different um competitors have taken a long time to like really build themselves into like full-fledged platforms in a way that has like made the public disinterested as well. Like you've had Blue Sky, which led the invites, and the invite part of things made people really excited to join Blue Sky. People were like really feeding to do like get access and get invites into the platform. And then I literally will remember people like say that they would stop using it for a week because like a week after they got the invite, because of the fact that like you couldn't upload videos, you couldn't really do too much with the platform compared to what you could do with Twitter. And there was also just the fact that like a lot of people were not making the move over. Like there was just a lot of people who were like, oh, like I'm moving, like I'm not coming back to like Twitter and stuff like that, and they would be back because of the fact that like all their friends and stuff like that are still on Twitter. There hasn't been like, I feel like people are still holding on to Twitter until its last days, even if like even though concerning stuff has popped up and has like happened on the platform. Like they're not banning people the way that they used to ban them because of the weird quote unquote like free speech thing, which is not like a free speech. It's not actually free speech. It's just like a buzzword to get conservatives to feel like things are okay and say the things that they want to do without like being looked at crazy on the platform when they should very well be looked at crazy. Just giving like those weird far right people a space. Um, there was the weird change in like the terms and conditions, which suggested that they might be feeding things through like an AI algorithm soon. Like there's just been little things like that have had people be like, "Oh, I'm leaving." Like, "Oh, this is very weird." And some people have left. Not to get like, don't get me wrong, but there's still people who are still holding on and using the platform on a day-to-day basis because their friends and stuff are still on there. The creators and stuff that they want to support and the celebrities that they like really adore are still on the platform. So until something like really bad happens and people legitimately do an exodus or the app literally shuts down, even in certain countries like what happened with Brazil, I feel like people are still gonna stay on like Twitter until it dies out, unfortunately. And who knows when that's gonna happen. I could see it happening soon because there's been so many like issues in the corporate space, at least on the top ends of X. Like they fired so much staff. The company is just like operating off of a skeleton crew. The like that like Yinda girl, wait, who's that lady? They like brought that lady in to like be like one of the leaders of the company, and then she left because everyone was like, "Oh, you're not consulting Elon, and like you're not really, you're not really defending the company the way that you should be." Like everyone's like very confused, and like she became basically a laughing stock, and then she left. Um, did she leave actually? I might be wrong. I might be wrong. Yeah, she left. Well, no, she's still here. Yinda Yesarino, who was like the executive officer of X, she still is. Like people look at her crazy because she's literally talking about like things out of her ass and has no idea what she's talking about, and it's very clear that she doesn't really consult Elon on a regular basis on like what their vision should be. She's just kind of there. So like there's still things like that, and like the stuff with the employees that is still happening that is gonna keep making people question how long the platform has. But it's really gonna be up to like one, it's gonna be up to us to like really, if people really are tired of the platform, to leave and go somewhere else and like really give a platform that success because we've been able to do it. We all remember how TikTok came and rose up and how Vine, came and went. You know, people, as much as people pretend about like the how Zeus network is like bad for people, how people tune into baddies all the time. Like we the people give these companies the success that they need. So as long as we keep doing that and as long as it still gives them some money, the companies are still gonna operate. X is still gonna run and still be like inoperable at the same time. That's my thoughts on that. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode of the Cake Radio Show. If y'all did, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel where you get episodes before anyone else. And if you're listening to this on your favorite podcast platform, be sure to follow us on your favorite podcast platform by looking up Cake Radio by CakeDive and give the show a good rating because it helps. Also, drop in the comments what your thoughts on this was, if what you think about Twitter or like X and how you feel about all that now that we're like 2 years into the Elon era. Do you think we still gonna last another 2 years, maybe even another year? With your thoughts, let me know in the comments below, and I'll talk to y'all later. Also, let me know how this mic sounds. I'm trying out for this episode and the DDG episode I'm about to drop. I'm trying out the Serisonic Blink 500B2 Plus, a cute little mic that I got recently. Got it for a pretty good discount. And I'm trying it out for these videos. Let me know if y'all like how it sounds compared to my previous mic. If so, I'm gonna keep it and keep using it for these videos. If not, you know what I'm gonna do, return it. But that's my thoughts. That's all I gotta say, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye bye.